Overthinking does not protect your relationship. It quietly teaches you to distrust it. Your partner sends a shorter text than usual, and you wonder if they're upset. They seem distracted at dinner, and you immediately assume that they are losing interest in you. Maybe they ask for space, and your mind immediately decides that they are preparing to leave. So before anything has actually happened, you've analyzed their tone, you've replayed the conversation, you've predicted the ending, and emotionally reacted to a story that may not even be true. And that is what makes overthinking so dangerous. It doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks just like asking the same question in 5 different ways. Sometimes it looks like needing constant reassurance. And sometimes it can look like withdrawing before your partner has the chance to reject you first. It can also look like just starting an argument because you're responding to what you fear they actually mean instead of maybe what they actually said. Over time, your partner is going to begin to feel like they're constantly on trial for something that they never even did. And you begin feeling increasingly unsafe in a relationship that may not have been unsafe to begin with. All of this is because overthinking doesn't merely steal your peace. If you don't learn how to interrupt it, it can slowly create the very distance that you're terrified of. So I want you to imagine your partner comes home from work and they seem a little quieter than usual. Maybe you ask them if everything's okay. They probably confirm that it's fine. Maybe they're tired. But your mind doesn't stop there. You are thinking, why are they tired? Are they tired of me? They barely looked at me. What's going on? They were on their phone earlier. Something feels off. Something's different. You ask again, are you sure okay, honey? And they say yes. But now the reassurance doesn't feel reassuring at all because you've already decided there must be something they aren't telling you. So you begin watching them. You're analyzing their face. You're measuring their affection. You notice that they didn't sit so close to you as they normally do, or it wasn't in the same spot as always. And eventually your partner becomes frustrated and says, I told you I'm fine. But now their frustration feels like proof. I knew something was wrong. You become defensive and they withdraw. So now we're in this cycle. And by the end of the evening, there really is distance actually between you. But not because your partner was secretly leaving the relationship. The distance now was created by you, created by what happened after your fear convinced you that something was wrong. And this is how overthinking quietly damages relationships. Not because you're too emotional, not because you care too much, not talking about too muchness at all, but instead it's because your mind is trying to protect you from pain by predicting it, and then treating the prediction as reality. If we haven't met, I'm Jenn Pinkerton, and I'm a psychotherapist, a sexologist, and a connection expert. And I help individuals and couples discover and understand the deeper emotional patterns that affect their relationships, intimacy, and sense of self, and your sense of connection. So today I want to show you 5 things that you need to understand about relationship overthinking and what you can begin to do to stop it before that fear starts making decisions for you. So the first thing you need to understand is this. Overthinking is an attempt to create certainty. Most overthinkers believe that if they analyze the situation long enough and carefully enough, then they're going to finally feel safe. If I can figure out why their tone changed, I'll know what to do. If I can replay the conversation enough times, then I will find out what I missed. If I prepare for every possible outcome, then I won't be blindsided. But overthinking rarely creates certainty. It creates more questions. And every answer produces another possibility. Every possibility produces another fear. And every fear demands more analysis. You aren't actually solving the relationship. You're attempting to eliminate the discomfort of not knowing. But healthy relationships require some tolerance for discomfort and for uncertainty. You're not always going to know what your partner's thinking. You're not always going to be in their head, and their mood's not always going to be about you. A difficult conversation doesn't automatically mean that the relationship is in jeopardy or it's ending. And needing time to process doesn't also automatically mean that somebody is hiding something or they're planning to be done. The goal is not to eliminate every uncertain moment. It's to learn that uncertainty does not always mean danger. Now, if you have trouble determining whether something is genuinely wrong in your relationship or whether anxiety is filling in all the blanks here, I want you to take my PRHI. It's the Pinkerton Relational Health Index, and it is free. And it can help you step back and assess the health of your relationships and how you're showing up more clearly, help you recognize your patterns that influence you. You'll find the link below. And because clarity, it doesn't come from analyzing one moment endlessly. It actually comes from understanding the larger, bigger pattern. Now, the second thing that I want to say is that overthinking confuses feelings with facts. So something can feel really true without it being true. You can feel rejected even when your partner is simply distracted. You can feel abandoned even when your partner just has only asked for an hour alone. You can feel unwanted even when your partner's stress has nothing to do with their attraction or interest to you. Your feelings are real. All feelings are valid. But the story explaining those feelings may not be accurate at all. And it's the story in your head that you'll hear me talk about a lot. And there's an important difference between saying, I feel like you don't care about me, and saying, I noticed we haven't spent much time together this week, and I'm feeling a little disconnected. Can we talk about it? The first statement presents your interpretation as fact. And now your partner feels like they must defend against it. The second separates what happened from what you fear to what it means. And when you feel yourself spiraling, ask this question. What do I actually know? What am I assuming? What else could be true? Is there evidence for my fear, or does the situation simply remind me of a previous or prior hurt in my life? This does not mean that you're dismissing your intuition or ignoring obvious warning signs. It just means gathering information before reaching a verdict. Third thing now, reassurance can become a cycle that never feels completed. So reassurance can be healthy. We all need to hear that we're loved and we're wanted and we're emotionally safe. But when reassurance actually becomes the only way that you can regulate your fear, it is going to stop providing any sort of relief for you. So if you're asking, do you still love me? And your partner says, yes, I love you. You feel better for 20 minutes. Then your mind says, but did they mean it? Did they say it in a weird way? Did they hesitate before answering? Or they didn't say it as warmly as they normally do, or they said it while walking off with no eye contact. So you asking in a different way. And at first your partner may respond compassionately, saying, baby, of course, I love you. But eventually they're going to feel helpless because no answer is ever strong enough to defeat the fear. Then they become frustrated, and then you're frustrated, and their frustration increases your anxiety. And now you are leveling up even more. And now you need more reassurance. And the answer is not to stop communicating. It's not to stop talking about what you feel and what you need. It's to learn how to soothe yourself before making your partner responsible for disproving every frightening thought. Pause. Power in the pause. Put your feet on the floor. Slow your breathing. Name what is happening. My fear is activated. I'm searching for certainty. Say it out loud because you don't have to act on that thought immediately. Give your nervous system time to settle before you ask your relationship to solve what may just be your own internal alarm. Fourth thing, overthinking changes how you treat your partner. So overthinking is not just happening inside your mind. Eventually, it is going to affect your behavior, and you may interrogate your partner. You're checking their phone. You're analyzing their social media activity. You're becoming passive aggressive. You're withdrawing affection, and you might even test their loyalty to you. You might create conflict to see whether they're going to fight to keep you. All these self-sabotaging behaviors. And you may think if they really love me, they're going to notice I'm upset. But your partner may only see that you become cold or suspicious or impossible to reassure. And overthinking can turn a partner into a suspect, and it can turn a conversation into a full-on investigation, and it can turn love into something that must constantly be proven. And we don't need to prove our love. Before reacting, ask yourself, am I responding to what my partner did or to what I fear their behavior means to me? And then replace testing with direct communication. So instead of being distant to see whether they chase you, say, I'm feeling insecure today and I could really use some connection with you, honey. Instead of accusing them of not caring, say, when our communication changed this week, I noticed my mind started assuming things and thinking the worst. Can you tell me what's maybe been happening for you? This directness gives your partner a real opportunity to show up for you, to understand you. Whereas tests only give them an opportunity to fail without even knowing they were being tested. The fifth thing, you stop overthinking by building self-trust. And many people believe they'll stop overthinking when they finally have the perfect partner who never triggers them. But that doesn't exist. No partner can guarantee that you'll never feel uncertain or that you're never going to feel disconnected or jealous or afraid. And even a loving and emotionally available partner is going to sometimes be tired. They're going to sometimes have a bad mood, and they're going to occasionally communicate poorly. They're going to need space. They're going to have feelings that you can't fix or understand. Your peace cannot depend on another person behaving perfectly enough to prevent every fear that you have. You reduce overthinking by learning to trust yourself, by trusting that you can ask a direct question, by trusting that you can tolerate an uncomfortable answer, by trusting that you can recognize patterns over time instead of reacting to one isolated moment immediately. Trust that if something is truly wrong, you can face it. Trust that you do not have to abandon yourself to keep another person. And trust that you can survive the truth, even if the truth is not what you hoped it would be. So I want you to try creating a pause between the thought and the reaction. I want you to write down the fearful story your mind is telling you. Separate the observable facts from your own interpretation and ask whether this is a current problem, a familiar wound, or both. So decide whether the situation needs communication or a little bit of self-soothing or a boundary to be set or simply more time. You don't have to believe that every thought is real and accurate just because it arrived with a strong emotion. So if you recognize yourself in any of this, these patterns that I'm discussing, or you want to understand why certain situations activate this much fear, this is exactly why I created the Relationship Blueprint Intensive. It will help you identify these expectations, your emotional patterns, and protective responses that you're bringing into relationships. It's a 30-day program. And by doing so, you can stop reacting from an old wound and begin responding to what is actually happening now. So you'll find the link in the description below. Because you can't change a relationship pattern that you haven't even learned how to recognize. So overthinking promises to protect you from being blindsided, but instead it keeps you emotionally braced for an ending that may never come. It makes you rehearse this heartbreak, this inevitable heartbreak to you, while love is still standing right in front of you. And your thoughts are not always warnings. Sometimes they're just echoes of an old wound that is trying to predict a new relationship. And sometimes they're fear demanding certainty and guarantees that no human relationship can possibly ever provide. So the goal is not to stop caring. The goal is not to ignore your intuition. The goal is to stop treating every fearful thought like facts, like evidence. Because the more you trust yourself to handle the truth, the less you will need to fear to predict it for you. So overthinking is often only the surface of something deeper. Underneath the analyzing, the questioning, the need for certainty is frequently a fear of being emotionally exposed, because vulnerability requires you to admit, I care, I'm afraid, I need you, or the really big one, you have the ability to hurt me. And if openness has ever been punished in your life or dismissed or maybe even used against you, then protecting yourself feels so much safer than allowing someone to truly know you. So in the next video, we're going to uncover the real reason why you struggle with vulnerability and how emotional protection creates distance in your relationships and what you can begin to do to feel safer being seen. Because you can't experience the intimacy that you're going to want in a relationship if you're hiding parts of yourself that intimacy actually requires. So I'll see you there. Best and rest.